Shalom, good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcast to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, tensions continue to run high throughout the West Bank territories and East Jerusalem. France urges Lebanon to avoid a power vacuum after failing a parliamentary quorum to elect a new president. The European Union sanctions Iran over its brutal crackdown of protesters. Tensions continue to run high throughout the West Bank and East Jerusalem, with repeated shooting attacks and other acts of terror reported over the weekend. On Friday night, a Palestinian terror cell opened fire toward the Israeli community of Beit El, situated in the Binyamin Regional Council. While engaged in the attack, an IDF paratroopers force that conducted an initiated operational ambush opened fire toward the terror cell, killing one of the shooters, a member of the Islamist Hamas organization, while a second assailant managed to flee the scene, prompting an ISA or Shin Bet manhunt. It is important to know that as a result of the shooting attack, one Israeli civilian, observing the Feast of Sukkot by eating dinner within a makeshift tabernacle in his backyard, sustained light injuries from shrapnel. The Israeli civilian was consequently evacuated to a hospital for medical treatment. Less than 12 hours after the attack, in a joint IDF, ISA, and border police operation, the second terrorist who fled the scene was successfully apprehended by Special Operations Forces of the Hamas unit. No injuries were reported to the Israeli troops. Separately on Saturday, clashes in Jerusalem were reportedly limited to Isawiya neighborhood, where a group of local Arab residents reportedly hurled stones and Molotov cocktails toward border police forces, who responded with crowd dispersal means. The riot was swiftly dispersed, and no injuries were reported to the Israeli forces. Subsequently on Sunday, a Palestinian assailant reportedly hurled a Molotov cocktail toward a civilian bus at Ziv intersection, which is situated near the city of Hebron. IDF troops who conducted routine counterterrorism activity in the area responded with live fire in accordance with presiding rules of engagement. As a result, the Palestinian assailant was effectively neutralized and evacuated to a hospital in moderate condition. Separately, as part of Operation Wavebreaker, IDF, ISA, and Border Police Special Operations Forces conducted counter-terrorism activity throughout the West Bank districts of Judea, Samaria, and the Jordan Valley over the weekend, the culmination of which 6 suspected terrorists were successfully apprehended. Meanwhile, Israeli Defense Minister Benny Gantz toured the area of Gush Etzion yesterday, where the local council head Oded Ravivi hosted Jerusalem's top defense official at a Tabernacle of Peace, which is open to both Arabs and Jews who seek to advance dialogue of neighborly relations and peace.
סיימתי ביקור וסיור בגוש עציון שהחל בסוכת השלום באפרת, יוזמה ברוכה של ראש המועצה עודד רביבי שמסמלת את היהדות שלנו, שמבוססת על שכנות ועל הידברות ועל קשר טוב עם כוחות הביטחון. החובה שלנו היא לאפשר ביטחון ולמגר את האיומים, ואנחנו מחויבים לכך. לאחר מכן ביקרתי את הכוחות במעבר ביתר שעומדים על המשמר. אנחנו נמשיך בפעילות מול הטרור, נרחיב אותה ככל שידרש ובכל האמצעים, ההתקפיים, ההגנתיים וגם אזרחים ומדיניים.
The Israeli defense minister also responded to criticism against the defense establishment over supposedly limiting the IDF's use of force, highlighting that the Israeli troops are not constrained in any way in their battle against terror. Meanwhile, French Foreign Minister Catherine Colonna concluded a 2-day visit to Beirut over the weekend, during the course of which he held separate meetings, including with President Michel Aoun and caretaker Prime Minister Najim Kati. It is important to know that Lebanon's parliament speaker, Nabi Berri, head of the Shiite Amal faction, which is the closest ally of Hezbollah in Lebanon, recently postponed a session on electing a new president from the 13th of October to the 20th of this month, that after the House failed to secure a quorum. And with the end of President Michel Aoun's term rapidly approaching, namely October 31st, The Paris top diplomat voiced urgency to Beirut's leadership to ensure an orderly transition of power on time.
Et cette amitié, elle nous autorise à dire que le Liban ne peut plus aujourd'hui prendre le risque d'une vacance du pouvoir et que tous les dirigeants libanais doivent être à la hauteur de leurs responsabilités politiques et institutionnelles, car la situation l'exige.
Foreign Minister Colonna also seized the opportunity to praise the pending maritime agreement with Israel, dubbing it historic and a major signal for stability and prosperity in the region.
La France salue cet accord historique auquel, vous le savez, elle a contribué activement, en soutien, en appui à la médiation américaine. Cet accord a été conclu, il faut maintenant le signer, le finaliser, et une fois conclu et mis en œuvre, il sera bénéfique aux deux pays et à leur population. C'est un signal majeur, évidemment, pour la stabilité et la prospérité dans la région.
Turning to Brussels, where EU foreign ministers held a meeting to deliberate the bloc's approach toward geostrategic developments, including Russia, China, and Iran, among others. During the ministerial, the union's top diplomats approved a series of sanctions on Iran, which includes travel bans and freeze of assets of some 15 Iranians involved in the regime's crackdown that began last month against demonstrators outraged by the murder of 22-year-old Masha Amini.
Und daher wird dieses weitere Sanktionspaket, was wir jetzt auf den Weg bringen, die Verantwortlichen dafür zur Rechenschaft ziehen. Das bedeutet, es wird ein Einreiseverbot für diejenigen geben, die verantwortlich für den Tod von vielen Menschen in Iran sind, die nichts getan haben, als für ihre Menschenrechte auf der Straße zu demonstrieren. Darüber hinaus werden Vermögen eingefroren und es ist auch klar, wenn dieses Regime weiter auf seine Bevölkerung so einschlägt, dann wird es weitere Sanktionspakete gezielt für die Verantwortlichen geben.
Another topic of discussion during the EU Foreign Ministerial this morning included the Russian use of Iranian so-called suicide drones in the war of Ukraine by Russia. These Iranian-made Shahed 136 drones were reportedly utilized by the Russian military as of late, including this morning when the city of Kyiv sustained repeated targeted strikes by the Iranian systems.
Цієї та минулої доби різні регіони нашої держави зазнали російських атак, зокрема ракетами та іранськими дронами. Частину ракет і дронів збито. Але, на жаль, не всі. На жаль, є руйнування та жертви.
Despite US and British intelligence providing ample proof that the drones, which are utilized in Ukraine, originate in Iran, the European Union's foreign policy chief Josep Borrell asserted ahead of the meeting that he demanded more solid proof.
This is something that will be discussed. And we will look for concrete evidence about the participation that Iran is strongly, on the strongest possible term, denied. Well, let's see which is the information. Kuleva will participate in the meeting, but the sanctions today are related with the repression against the demonstrators as consequences of the die of Miss Amini. This package of sanctions has been discussed and prepared, and I'm sure will be adopted. On the issue of drones, the discussion will continue.
As was highlighted by the EU foreign policy chief, Iran continues to deny any involvement in the Ukraine war at Russia's behest, claiming that the allegations leveled against it constitute sheer political ploys.
متاسفانه اخباری منتشر می شود که مبتنی بر اهداف سیاسی است و عمدتاً از سوی منابع غربی هم به اونها دامن زده می شود. جمهوری اسلامی ایران همونطور که بارها اعلام کرده یک طرف جنگ در جنگ میان روسیه و اوکراین نیست. جمهوری اسلامی ایران هیچ سلاحی رو برای هیچ کدام از طرفین جنگ صادر نکرده.
The Iranian dismissal of allegations directed at it is similar to the Ayatollah regime's determined rejection of allegations of its pursuit after nuclear weapon capabilities despite concrete evidence of past activities. And while a near regional consensus rejects any claimed merits for rejoining the 2015 nuclear deal, or JCPOA, the EU foreign policy chief continues to promote an alternate reality despite little hope for imminent breakthrough.
JCPOA for me has always been a way of improving the security in the region and beyond, also for us. The JCPOA would be a source of security. As you know, the negotiation has been stalled in the last weeks. I don't expect any move. That's a pity because we were very, very, very close. We have to wait. But the whole world would be much more secure. The region certainly, Europeans also. But today it would be so good to have a good news on this side. I don't expect that.
Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News. I would like to thank TV7 Israel's family of supporters and encourage you, pray for our persecuted brothers and sisters worldwide and for the peace of Jerusalem and salvation of Israel. I'm Jonathan Hassan wishing you a Shavua Mevorach, and God willing, we will see you again tomorrow at the same time.